Um, yeah, that was my big announcement. I'm going to flip you around in a minute. I'm going to sneeze. There was one other thing that I needed to do with story time. Oh yes, yes. I just stole my child's slinky, and I need to put that into the Lego story to make the Lego story a little bit better than it was yesterday. Yeah, that's great. Right, I will be with you in about 1 minute, I think. There's really not that much to do. I have not much faffing to get on with. Excuse me. Okay. Right. I think I'm ready to go. Yeah. Right. Yes. Gather my pens. I want to use that one. Well, yesterday. That one. That one. So this is great telly, isn't it? Just me shuffling around behind you saying, that one. Okay, right. Oh, excuse me. Ugh. Okay, flipping you around. Let's do this. Okay, I'm going to unplug you. There we go. Right. We're starting the show. You got basically paper and pens. That's all you need in it. Hello, Science Alliance. I am Lara. This is Theatre of Science. I am trained to teach physics up to A level, right? I've got a first class drama degree and a first class science degree, and I teach free live lessons for home educators. This isn't the lesson, though, is it? This is the sort of third bonus thing where we do an activity and we have a chat about a thing that you wanted me to learn about. I tell you a story with Lego at the end. And this week, on today's Lego Story Show, you wanted me to learn about colour blindness. So I have. So we'd better get started. Now, what I thought would be fun to do, which ironically might not work if you are actually colourblind. I've tried to be fair with my outfit today and just wear things that anyone with any kind of colour blindness will more or less see the same. You probably know the activity where you put maybe you don't. If you put a red cross on a piece of paper and you stare at it for ages without blinking, and then you look at a white piece of paper, you will see a green cross. Okay, so I thought, let's do that, but let's just up it a notch. Okay, so I've got a little picture here. In fact, do it with me. Let's all look at this picture together, so you get the idea, and then you can make your own picture and see if it works. So what I've done is I've used sort of opposite colours. We'll explain how more or less how it works at the end. But I've got a red tree with a purple sun and an orange sky. And if we stare at that for as long as we can. Like, don't, break your eyes. But if you stare at that for as long as you can without blinking, and then you look at a white piece of paper, I find it helps if you blink when you're looking at the white piece of paper. You should find that the image has the correct colours. Try it with me, okay, before I start telling you about colour blindness, so you get an idea of what you're doing if you're doing this activity too, okay? So have you done plenty of blinking? Right, let's start staring at the tree. So I'm just staring at the tree. Sorry, the screen's wobbling a little bit. Try not to blink, try not to blink. I should stop saying the B word because it made me want to blink. And then if you move over to the white piece of paper, oh yeah, if you blink really fast, I find that it makes the image come. I can see, I didn't hang on it for that long actually, but I could see for a second there, a green tree with a blue sky. Let's try it one more time. Okay, you ready? Stare, stare, just keep staring. A tree for science reasons. I'm really staring. Maybe it doesn't matter if we blink like once or twice. Just do the best that you can. I'm really going to hang on there. And then while you're drawing your own picture, I'm going to talk about what's going on in our eyes and the eyes of people who are colourblind. Okay, I'm moving over to the white sheet in a sec. You ready? You ready to move over? I think if you move over and blink, you'll see it. Ready? Move over and blink. Green tree! Blue sky! Yellow sun! Clear as day! Amazing. Right, I know it's not comfortable, but it's interesting. Had I better write down, actually? Apologies, I want to start the show thing, but I think I'd better write down for you which colour is which. So red is going to look green. So if you want to draw like a red plant, then it'll look green in the end. Orange looks blue, because you might not want to draw what I've done. You might want to do some sort of completely different picture. Orange looks blue. I mean, you can experiment, can't you? Just do a tiny little bit of it while I'm chatting on a piece of paper, and then look at a white page and see what you see. But I've done purple looks yellow as well. And brown sort of looked brown. Purple looks yellow. Whew! Is that all of them? So it's like vice versa as well. If you wanted to draw like a red heart, draw a green heart. Yeah. Cool. Right, we better crack on because I said I'd learn about colour blindness, and I totally didn't think about what a massive job it was. To learn about colour blindness, I had to remind myself about how the eyes work, how colour works, how inheriting things works, like chromosomes and genes, which I can never blooming remember because I'm not a biology teacher. But anyway, I think I've got there, and I'm going to quickly pass it on to you before it falls out of my head, okay? Light travels from objects into our eyes, and we've looked at this in our recent astronomy lessons. You've got a lens in the front of your eye, and the lens focuses the light, hopefully, onto the back of your eye, and that's how you see an image. Here is a picture of an eye. That's just me, sorry. There we go. Here's a picture of an eye. So light travels through the lens, and this is your optic nerve. You've actually got a little bit of a blind spot because the image can't get projected onto your optic nerve. That's where all your nerves are. This tiny little sort of bump here is called the fovea. That's like basically the best bit of the screen. So the light that gets focused there on the fovea, gives you a really, really good clear image. So you've got lots of different types of cell in the back of your eye that detect the light. Some of them are cones, and cones can only see in black and white. The cone cells are some of them are rods. I'm going to write down so I don't. Well, I don't just write down the word rods, right? Some of the cells in the back of your eye are rods, and they only see black and white, and they're very good at seeing in low light. So if you ever wake up in the middle of the night in your room, see if you can sort of tell that you're only seeing in black and white. When light is very dull, dim, you're only using your rods in the back of your eye, and they can't detect colour. So yeah, anytime you're in a dark place, you only see it in black and white. It's good, isn't it? If you want to take a break from drawing, your rods are really what make you see stuff. They're mainly what make you see stuff in your peripheral vision. So if you hold a finger up behind your head and look forwards, it's not really working for me because I can see it on the screen. But if you hold a finger behind your head and just stare forwards and move the finger until you just see it right in the corner of your eye. We used to think that thing you can see in the corner of your eye was in black and white as well, because only the rods could see it. It's not actually true. You can see that in colour. Yeah, I can clearly see that in colour. Because there are other cells in the back of your eye as well called cones. So you've got rods, only see black and white, help you see at night. And you've got cones, which make you see different colours. And there's 3 different types of cone. There's what gets called red cones. We're going to look in a sec about how this isn't quite true. They get called red cones, and there are ones that get called green cones. And there are ones that get called blue cones. And people talk about them as making you see like red and green and blue. That isn't quite true. They can actually detect colours other than red and green and blue. So we've been looking a lot recently at how white light is made of all the different colours of the rainbow, all mixed together, okay? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, all the colours of the rainbow. And how light has got different, light is a wave, and it's got a different wavelength depending on what colour it is. So red light is a really long stretched out wave, and blue light is a really close together wave, and green light is in the middle. What your cones are actually doing is one of your cones is good at detecting really long light, so red, but also some colours that aren't red, just long wavelengths of light. The blue cone is really good at detecting short waves, and the green is the one in the middle. So like a proper optician scientist person would say that was your L cone for long wavelengths, that was your M cone for medium ones, and that was your S cone for short. I am probably just going to call them your red, your green and your blue cones. Here's a chart which might make things more complicated. Oh, it might help you. I don't know. Here we go. If you like graphs, you'll love it. This is the rainbow in the background, and these lines are showing you what colours of light the different cones can detect. So you can see like the medium cone, it's highest where the green is, so it can mainly detect green, but if we only look at this medium bit of the graph here, it can also detect it. It's not as sensitive to red light, but it can detect a bit of red light, and it can detect a bit of blue as well. And if we look at your long wave cone, like your red cone, it can detect red, but it can also detect loads of yellow and green. There's loads of overlap between the red cone and the green cone. The blue cone, it's not it's specializing. It's really just detecting blue and a little bit of green as well. All right, so that's important for colour blindness. So there's different types of colour blindness. If all 3 of your cones are all working as they should do, then you are not colourblind. You can see all the different colours, which is weird, right? It's so incredible how the eye works. We don't have time to go into it in loads of detail, because like there's loads of colours that don't actually exist as waves that your brain just makes up. It has to do with like your brain, these cones, basically light lands on the cones absorb the light and then send a message to your brain. So depending on the combination of different signals that your brain gets, that's what, so like if you're seeing yellow light, it might not be that actually a yellow wave has hit your eye. It might be just a different combination of these. And like magenta, that gorgeous sort of pinky, really bright, vibrant colour, magenta isn't a wave. Like it's not that a wave hits your eye and makes you see magenta. It's just a combination of these firing makes your brain go, I'll show magenta for that one, that'd be nice. Anyway, all 3 of them working, you're not colourblind at all. And there's a type of colour blindness where just one of your cones isn't working very well. Like your red cone doesn't work that well, or your green cone doesn't work that well, or your blue cone doesn't work that well. The ones where the green cone doesn't work well, or where the red cone doesn't work well, are quite similar, because remember the cones, they actually do like pretty similar jobs. So if you imagine that you haven't got that M cone working very well, you've only got the L cone, or you haven't got the L cone working very well, you've only got the M cone. There's not that much difference. So that's why people talk about red-green colour blindness. It's not, there isn't really such a thing as red-green colour blindness. It's just kind of red colour blindness or green colour blindness. They're so similar that we just sort of lump them all together. So some people will have one cone that isn't working quite right, but you can't even really tell because like everything that you see is just what you see, isn't it? So you might not have noticed that it was slightly different to what other people see because it might be so mild. I'll show you some tests that you can use to work it out later. Some people will have one cone not working very well at all. But the types of colour blindness we'll look into in more detail are the ones where one of them or more of them isn't working at all. So there is a kind of colour blindness where none of your cones work at all and you've only got your rods. So you can only see in black and white. It's called, you might have to help me with the pronunciation here, monochromacy. Mono meaning one. So people with monochromacy, no cones working, only see in black and white. This is an incredibly rare condition. It only affects 1 in 33,000 people. People like John Kay, I just found out, lead singer and guitarist of Steppenwolf, who did the song Born to be Wild. You know, Born to be Wild. Very cool guy, but wearing sunglasses on stage, not just because he's a super cool guy, but because his cones don't work. And sadly, if your cones don't work in your eye, it's not you just see stuff in black and white. It comes with a whole load of other really unpleasant symptoms. Like it can make your eyes do a sort of special kind of flickering move. It also can make you really sensitive to light. So you know how if it's a really bright sunny day, you might do this because the light might be quite uncomfortable because it's too bright in your eyes. People with monochromacy will tend to wear sunglasses even inside because even a little bit of light going into their eyes can be quite painful. Apparently, so a lot of the information that I'm telling you today is from this awesome website, Colourblind Awareness, and they've said a lot of people contact them being really worried because they've been told by an optician that their child is totally colourblind, but it's not monochromacy. Apparently, a lot of even opticians don't know a lot about colour blindness, and you've got to go to a specialist. So someone might say you're totally colourblind when they mean like one of your cells is totally not working, or it's a very severe colour blindness, but it's not monochromacy. Okay, so we've done monochromacy. There's another thing, you can probably guess what it is, called dichromacy, which is where only 2 of your cones are working. And there's 3 different types of dichromacy. Again, you probably guessed that. So there's one called, honestly, the amount of biology words I've been looking at this week. There's one called protanopia. I tried to make it that's where your red cone doesn't work. So I've done it in blue and green writing. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, if your red cone is not working at all, then it's called protanopia. If your green cone isn't working at all, it's called deuteranopia. And if your blue cone isn't working at all, it's called tritanopia. I should say, actually, there is a type of colour blindness where you've only got one cone working, but it's well, the only one that we know of that actually exists is where only your blue cone is working. And again, it can cause sort of eye flickering, like light sensitivity, headaches. It's more than just not being able to see certain colours. I think in theory it could happen that your blue or your red cone isn't working, but I don't think they've actually tested anyone and found that happens. So we'll stick to the 2 cones. If you've only got 2 cones working, it's either protanopia, deuteranopia, or tritanopia. These 2, again, they sort of get lumped together because the red and the green cones overlap so much that people with one of these often see similar things, which is why it's called red-green colour blindness. And I suspect most people, like my dad, has got red-green colour blindness. I don't suppose he will know which one that he has. No one's ever really thought about it. Here's what you see if your red cone is not working at all. Here's an image here, so just all the red sort of taken out, if you like. Here's what you see if your green cone isn't working at all. Now, you might be thinking, Laura, that's exactly the same picture twice. All right, I'll put them next to each other so you can see if you're not colourblind. They're not quite the same, but there isn't an awful lot in it. And here's, again, colourblind awareness, thank you, telling me a little bit about the sort of more subtle differences. So if your red cone isn't working, you might confuse black with shades of red, or dark browns might look dark green. If your green cone isn't working, you're more likely to confuse your sort of greens and your reds. or bluey greens are going to look kind of pinky grey. And with tritanopia, where your blue cone isn't working, that will take, you remember the graph we saw where the blue cone is detecting the blues and some greens as well. So apparently you'd be more likely to see something like that. Okay, so whew. So there's different tests you can do. There's a very, very famous test by Shinobu Ishihara, who was, he's died now, but he was a Japanese surgeon, actually, I think, in the army. And he devised this incredible test for colour blindness, which you've probably seen. Lots and lots of little circles and patterns with numbers in, designed especially so that people with different kinds of colour blindness can see different numbers or see different things. It can't detect anything to do with your blue cones. It's only a test for red, green colour blindness or specific ones. And it's still used now. It's been used for years and years and years. So here's the first one. Here's a picture of him, sorry. Here's Shinobu Ishihara. So the first one, which is, well, maybe I shouldn't tell you. If you can see, hopefully you can see what number that is, because this is supposed to be the one that everyone with any kind of colour blindness can see. So you should be seeing the number 12 there. This one is designed to sort of work out whether you've got red-green colour blindness. So if you've got typical colour vision, you will be able to see an 8 there. But if you've got any kind of red-green deficiency, apparently you will see a 3. And there are even ones that can tell you which cone isn't working as well. So protanopia is red cone not working. Deuteranopia is green cone not working. Have a look at this. If all 3 of your cones are working, then you should be able to just make out a 42. But if your red cone isn't working, or if it's not working at all, or if it's just not working a bit, you'll only see the 2. And if your green cone isn't working at all, or it's only working a bit, then it says a 4. And there's absolutely loads of them. Yeah. So I'm not going to show you them all. I have actually, if you go to my Facebook page, I've already linked you to a PDF which has all of them and explains more, because I thought it was really interesting. Okay, so I said I'd had to learn about inheritance for this. So how do you get colour blindness? Well, largely it's inherited. Not always. Various things can cause colour blindness. So some people will get colour blindness for a bit and then it will go away again. Some people will be able to see all colours and then become colourblind, and then it might get worse. But most people who are colourblind, it's inherited. So if you read about colour blindness, very quickly you find out that loads more men are colourblind than women, or like loads more males are colourblind than females. It's about 8% males are colourblind and about 0.5, so like 0.5% of females are colourblind. But it doesn't really give you a lot of information, actually, because it's inherited, so it sort of depends where you live in the world. So like in Scandinavia, that number's quite a bit higher, like 12%, whereas if you live in the continent of Africa, like underneath the Sahara Desert, you're much less likely to be colourblind, apparently. But anyway, I was like, oh, why is it mainly males that get it? We need to look at how you inherit things. How are you getting on with your picture, by the way? Are you doing okay? While I'm chatting, you can be drawing all kinds of different pictures and experimenting with different colours. And then I'll do, well, I don't know, actually. I was going to do mine again at the end, but we've already done my best picture, so maybe we won't bother, but I will explain how it works. Right, luckily for me, a few terms ago, so I do this all ages lesson every week in term time, where I explain sort of science in a bit more detail. It's more like a lesson where I ask you questions and you kind of get brain exercise. Luckily for me, when we did the mythical creatures one, I looked at inheritance and I said at the time, oh, there's so many biology words, I always forget how this works. I had forgotten again how it works. So I had to go back to the PowerPoint and remind myself. So if you watched that lesson, sorry if you remembered all this, I did not. DNA is a chemical found in nearly every cell in your body. Here is a picture of a DNA strand. DNA is like the instructions for what you are, right? It decides what colour your eyes are, what colour your hair is, whether you got male bits or female bits or whatever. So your DNA is very, very long. It's so long. It's coiled up so it fits inside your body. So if you imagine like a bit of string, Here we go. Imagine a long bit of string, really long, so long. If you twist it and you keep twisting and you keep twisting, it forms interesting shapes, right? And kind of smaller shapes, like more compact shapes. DNA is like that. The DNA in your body is not all stretched out into one big line. It's all coiled up like that. And it makes a specific kind of shape, a structure called a chromosome. So that's DNA, really long strand, all coiled up. It makes a shape called a chromosome. That is a chromosome. These for me, not for you. Okay, DNA coiled up into a chromosome. Cool. Never gonna forget that. Humans have 46 chromosomes, DNA strands that are all coiled up into chromosomes. You've got 46 chromosomes, and we say that they're in 23 pairs, right? Okay, 23 pairs of chromosomes, 46 altogether. So, how people get made is the human with male bits makes a sperm, the human with female bits makes an egg, sperm and the egg come together to make a new person. But, right, what's going on? Because I've just said that person's got 46 chromosomes. That person's got 46 chromosomes. Surely if their sperm and their egg get together, that's going to make a person that has like 92 chromosomes. Well, no. Nature's amazing. The egg and the sperm are the only cells that only get half the amount of chromosomes. Okay, so there's 46 chromosomes in each body, but only 23 of them get put in the egg and the sperm. So, what genes though? Because we haven't talked about genes. What genes are, you could think of them as being like tiny little bits on the DNA. So that bit could be a gene, or that bit could be a gene. Actually, only 1% of your DNA is genes. Okay? Poof. So when you look at a picture of a chromosome like that, it's the genes in the chromosome, the instructions really, that say what eye colour you've got or what hair colour or whatever. That's what those little stripes are, if you ever see a picture of a chromosome. Okay, so your chromosomes are numbered from 1 to 23, and you've got 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, 2 number 3s, yeah? So I said you had 23 pairs of chromosomes, and you have. This is absolutely ridiculous that scientists have managed to do this. We've got 23 different chromosomes. They're numbered 1 to 23, but you've got 2 of each, right? 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, etc. So, when the bodies are making the eggs and the sperm, it's just like a random one that goes into the sperm. So, for example, this person has got 2 chromosome number 4s, and just one of them gets randomly put into a sperm, and then another one might get put randomly into another sperm. So there's loads of, like, millions of sperm, and some of them have got one of the number 4s, and some of them have got one of the other number 4s. Okay? Is this making sense? Phew. Let's think about chromosome number 15. That relates to eye colour. So all the different chromosomes do different jobs. Chromosome number 15 relates to just the colour of your eyes. Right. So you've got 2 chromosome number 15s in your body right now. In your body right now. Yeah, if you've got a typical human body, you've got 2 chromosome number 15s, and one of them is from the male, from the sperm. One of them is from the egg that made you, from the female. So, well, here's the PowerPoint. I just missed you. I haven't seen you. You haven't seen my face for ages. So one of the chromosome number 15s from the male goes into the sperm. One of the chromosome number 15s from the female goes into the egg. But what if one of your chromosome number 15s has genes for blue eyes and the other have genes for brown eyes? What happens, right? Because that's going to happen, isn't it? Imagine that the male that made you had 2 chromosomes, had, like, the sperm that made you was going, this person should have brown eyes. But the egg that made you was going, no, this person should have blue eyes. What if they come together and you've got one chromosome saying blue eyes and one chromosome saying brown eyes? What happens? This is what we learned about in the mythical creatures lesson. So, we're getting there. Let's say brown-eyed chromosome in sperm, blue-eyed chromosome in the egg. You got a new person with one of each. What colour are the new person's eyes? Well, what we found out is basically one set of eye colour genes wins. Some genes are what we call dominant, like they win. And some genes are called recessive, which means that they lose. So if you've got one chromosome in your body going brown eyes and one going blue eyes, the brown-eyed one is dominant. So in that situation, the new person would have brown eyes. Okay. So if both parents only have genes for brown eyes, obviously the new person is definitely going to have brown eyes. And if both parents only have genes for blue eyes, then obviously the new person, they've got no choice. They're definitely going to have blue eyes. Where it gets interesting is where one person has brown eyes, but maybe they've also got the chromosome in their body for blue eyes. But you wouldn't know, right? Because their eyes are brown, because this one's winning. But they could make some sperm that only have the blue-eyed gene in them. So I won't go into loads of detail because it's like a whole lesson about inheritance. But basically, you can have genes in your body and not know because they're sort of hidden, right? So my dad is colourblind. But so he might have given me a colourblind gene, but I wouldn't know because I've got another chromosome which is telling me to not be colourblind. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's look at colourblind. It's too simple to say there are genes for colourblindness. It's actually something to do with like the order of the genes. We'll just say the gene that makes you colourblind. So it's chromosome 23. It decides if you have male or female bits, and it's also carrying genes to do with colourblindness. So chromosome number 23 decides if you have male or female bits. Okay, so there's different number 23 chromosomes. There's ones that are X's and ones that are Y's. Males have got one chromosome 23 that's an X and one that is a Y, whereas females have got two X's. Okay, I think I'm understanding it. We're getting to the bit about colourblindness. The genes for red-green colourblindness are only found on the X chromosome. The genes for red-green colourblindness are only found on the X chromosome. And females have got two X's, but males have only got one X and one Y. So I've got two X chromosomes, right? If the X chromosome from the sperm that made me is going, be colourblind, but the X chromosome from the egg that made me is going, nah, don't be colourblind, then the colourblind one is recessive. It doesn't win. The don't be colourblind wins. Okay, so in females, you've got more chance of not being colourblind because you could have one of your chromosomes could be going, be colourblind, but you've got another chromosome and that one might be going, nah, don't be colourblind, and that one wins. But in males, they've only got one X chromosome. So if their chromosome is going, be colourblind, the other pair in that chromosome is just going like, I've got nothing. I have no opinions. So if a male gets any like be colourblind gene, they are going to be colourblind. Whereas if a female gets a be colourblind gene, they've got a backup. Do you see what I mean? I understand that. And it took a little while, but I do understand that. So that's why you can get colourblind females. It's very rare because both of those chromosomes would have to be going, be colourblind. Yeah, I agree, be colourblind. And then they would be colourblind. But it's far less likely. Oh, okay. Right. I think we got there. At least I understand that now. So we can move on. We're nearly ready for the Lego story. I haven't done another picture. I'm sorry. I feel like that was a bit rude of me. I'll maybe just do lots of nice little coloured dots. Or let's just do, coloured dots. I'm not going to bother to draw a whole other picture. But I'm going to put lots of colours onto a bit of paper, just in case you're like not doing this with me. Maybe you don't have pens, I don't know. And we'll talk about how if you are doing it, how this image works, this sort of colour changing image, just before we go to Lego Story Show. So I'm using all my colours. Here we go. This is great telling it. You're just watching me colour in. Brilliant. Let's put this on the board. Let's have a stare at this. Quickly talk about how it works, and then yeah, we'll do the story. I want to clear up a myth about colour blindness. Okay, so should we put a little dot in? That's what all the optical illusions do, isn't it? Stare at the black dot. You ready? Don't do it yet. I'm not doing it yet. Okay, ready? I'm just doing loads of blinking to warm up. Stare at the black dot. Wait, is that in focus? Stare at the black dot. I'm doing it. I'm staring. I'm really staring. I'm staring so hard. I'm staring. I'm sorry, my hands are wobbling, aren't they? Oh, I'm going to blink. Oh, I just blinked. Never mind. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll just keep staring. I'll keep staring. I keep staring at the dot. And now I'm going to move over to the white page. You ready? And blink. Whoa! That's so interesting. I've got dark blue, light blue, green, red. Wow. That yellow is coming up as really dark blue. Oh, it's amazing. So you can do like, I have links. There's a brilliant BBC video. I think it's BBC 4. If you look on YouTube, like BBC 4 colourblind image, there's this fantastic picture that you have to stare at like that. And then when you look at a white screen, suddenly all the colours are there. How it works very basically is white is giving off all the colours of the rainbow. So when you look at the white bit of paper, all the colours of the rainbow basically are going into your eye. But you've been staring at, say, the bit of your eye where you've been staring at the red dot. Basically, the cones that detect the red light the best, they've got really tired. They've sort of got fatigued. It's a little bit like, have you ever been to a public toilet and flushed the toilet, and if loads of people have flushed it beforehand, it won't flush, it's really annoying. It's a little bit like that. This red cone, this red patch here, your red cones have been flushed a lot and they just can't do it anymore. So when they look at the white paper, all the colours of the rainbow go into your eye, but the red cones are like, oh no, I can't anymore. So it's the other cones that do more work. So the red cone isn't working very well. So you see the red patch, you see that bit only really using your blue and your green cones. So that makes what was red, when you're looking at a white bit of paper, you're getting the greens and the blues that are bouncing off the paper, but you're not really detecting the red. Does that make sense? I'm just gonna assume that made sense. It made sense to me. Let's listen to a Lego story, shall we? Release my ears, because that'll help. There we go. Oops. Excuse me. So, wait, that's not right. I need to turn you around the other way. There we go. That's better. I think one of the only things I knew about colourblindness before I did this show was that people who were colourblind couldn't be in the army and they couldn't fly planes. Well, is that actually true? If you look up colourblindness in the army, you very quickly find a story on the BBC website from someone who fought in World War II explaining how he had been training to operate guns on tanks, and he'd been asked to fire just a kind of fake smoke shell at a target which was on the side of a mountain 2 miles away. Now, the smoke shells and the blow everything to smithereens shells were told apart by colours on them. So he picked up a smoke shell, fired it at the mountainside, and the target was completely blown to smithereens. Oops. So this trainee gun operative was then marched into an office, someone very, very cross with them saying, why on earth did you do that? And he explained, well, I thought I'd picked up the shell that was just like the fake smoke shell. I didn't realise. Anyway, eventually he got tested and it turned out he was colourblind and the charges were dropped and it was fine. Although sadly, it turns out that the army did absolutely nothing to change the colours of the shell. So the situation wasn't improved for later people. I would like to tell you that the situation is different now, but it's not extremely different. If you want to join the Marines, you will do a colourblind test. And sadly, they still use a lot of like red and green signalling for things like flares. Which is a huge safety issue. Sorry, not the Marines, the Navy SEALs. So if you are colourblind, you currently cannot be in the Navy SEALs. Because they just say it's a safety issue and they won't change. If you want to be in the Marines, then there are plenty of jobs that you can do in the Marines, apparently. So if you just want someone to shout, "Marines, fall in," and be able to fall in, then don't worry, you still can. I looked at whether people could be in the British military. And if you're colourblind and you want to be in the British military, you're not allowed to drive vehicles like kind of on runways, again, for safety reasons because of the signalling. But you can sit on the back, apparently. And if you're not bothered about being a stormtrooper or a Marine and you just want to be able to fly planes, then it is perfectly possible to fly a plane if you are colourblind, depending on the exact type of colourblindness you are. So if you go for an interview to be a pilot, then you will do a colourblindness test. And if you fail that test, you take a different test. Tests aren't perfect. They're now very open to you sitting lots of different tests to find out exactly what kind of colourblindness you have to decide what you can do. Colourblindness when piloting a plane might affect you because during the daytime, all the buttons have got labels on them, but apparently at night time they use different coloured lights to show the buttons. And if you're colourblind, this could obviously be a bit of a problem because you can't see the different colours. So what would be the solution there? Would you be able to fly a plane in that situation? Yeah, you would. Apparently you could just get a special license, which means that you only fly planes during the day. Wow, simple. It's not rocket science, is it? So it is still possible to pilot a plane, depending on the severity of the type of colour blindness that you have. In some situations, it might be that being colourblind is actually an advantage. I kept reading on the internet that colourblind people can see camouflage better, can kind of see through camouflage. Now, this would seem very unlikely, wouldn't it? But indeed, some types of camouflage involve using blocks of different colours to kind of break up the eye so that people can't spot you or can't spot a camouflage building. But if you're colourblind, then you're not really seeing the subtle differences between the colours anyway. So it doesn't make that much difference to you. So yeah, there is some evidence to suggest that colourblind people are actually very good at seeing through camouflage. And this evidence doesn't just come from humans. In Costa Rica, there are monkeys that are colourblind. Some of the monkeys have 3 cones working correctly, and some of them only have 2 cones working correctly. Honestly, colourblindness is the least of my Lego monkeys' problems. It's got no leg. Anyway, it's nice to be able to finally use my Lego monkey with a little bit of help from the stick. So, scientists in Costa Rica observed these monkeys because they were like, well, how can monkeys be colourblind? Surely be colourblind is going to make the monkeys less likely to survive. So evolutionarily speaking, there wouldn't be colourblind monkeys. The monkeys that weren't colourblind were getting insects that weren't particularly well camouflaged against their background. When they observed the colourblind monkeys, they found that the colourblind monkeys, sure enough, were much more likely to grow for, they tried to grab much more frequently, camouflaged insects because they could see them better because the camouflage wasn't working on the colourblind monkeys. So in some situations, colourblindness in animals is actually making them more likely to survive. Yeah. So there are some advantages to being colourblind, which probably don't relate to many situations. But it has to be said that it definitely doesn't stop you getting a wide manner of jobs. The person who accidentally blew up the mountain, his superiors, as cross as they were, had to admit that that mountain was 2 miles away and he was an absolutely cracking shot. The end. I can't believe they didn't fix it. They didn't think, oh, okay, maybe we'd better change the colours on the shells. No, blew a mountain to smithereens. All right, Eli, that is the end of my Lego story show about colourblindness. I very much hope that you enjoyed it. It's not the last lesson that I'm facilitating today because a lot of you know I've been doing theatre of science for 6 years. But recently, I set up Theatre of Knowledge. You named it, thank you. But there's now a Facebook page and a YouTube channel called Theatre Knowledge, where my friend Tempest is streaming free live English lessons. Hopefully soon we're going to have some history lessons on there as well. Me and Rob from the Silly History Boys are working on some new lessons. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Anyway, if you want to see Tempest doing their last lesson about Twelfth Night using all their different adorable little puppets, then you can at 2:30 today on the YouTube channel for Theatre of Knowledge. Go over, have a look, it'll be great. I'm now going to go over to my Facebook page, because whenever I'm live on YouTube, you'll have noticed there's no comments on YouTube, but I always put a post up on Facebook saying, if you want to comment on that post, then I will say hi to you. While I'm going over to my Facebook page, I have to tell you how this is my job. This is my literal job. I can't believe it. I can't believe that there are people out there who will pay, even if they don't have to have someone just rock up late and chat to them about fun science stuff. But there are. So how it works is, there's this website called Coffee where people support like podcasts and people that do things for free. So yeah, I basically just busk science lessons into the internet now. This is my full-time job. It's my full-time job. You're all always like, oh, Laura, thank you so much. It's really kind of you. I'm like, it's not kind of me. People are paying me. That's how this works, is that I put my hat out at the end of a lesson and people sign up to support me. So that is literally like paying for my children's clothes and my mortgage and food and all the other stuff that costs money. So if you go to the description of this video, or if you go to my sign up button on my Facebook page or my website, you find this link to Coffee. The idea is you sign up to support me with £5 a month, and that is enough to keep me going. So hopefully £5 a month for what I offer isn't too much from you, but with all of you chipping in together, it makes a wage for me, and I send you very nice things. They're really good. I don't send them very often. That is what I'm very sad about, because I'm doing all the teaching and the planning. But when I get a chance, I write Theatre of Science magazine, and it's got lots of really cool stuff in it. This one's about mould, so you get this when you sign up. It's got a free home compostable plastic bag. You can grow your own mould. You can read the comic about penicillin and how it was discovered, and how it wasn't just one bloke that saved loads of people's lives. You at the moment get this bonus satellite model that won't last forever. I really need to start telling people that, advertising properly. But anyway, and I also send you not one but 2 different sets of glasses at the moment if you sign up currently. Okay, so thank you very much for all the people who've signed up. Had a few new sign-ups today, which is absolutely lovely. It's good because money to survive, but it's also just a really nice confidence boost, isn't it? It's just a really nice way of thinking, oh, okay, people are using this to the point where they find it so useful that they will pay me. Right, let's have a look. No, John and his granddad. Okay, are colourblind. Right, let's have a look at these comments. Let's see. I know, I'm totally giving. So I'd never thought about, because I didn't really know how it works. I'd never thought about the fact that my dad is colourblind, so I could have the genes for colourblindness and the genes for not colourblindness. So in me, they're winning and I'm not colourblind. But my child I could have passed, if the egg from me that made my child had the be colourblind genes, then my child is male. So so I could have made my kid colourblind. I need to give them the test. Let's see. Hello, Heidi and Lennon. Your pops is colourblind. He asks Nana what colour his shirts are to check they're not pink. Yeah, my dad has brown shoes, and he bought some red shoe polish and put them on. It's funny, isn't it? If you know someone is colourblind, then you just understand what's happening, and it's not a big deal. Both John and his granddad are colourblind. Okay, that's interesting, isn't it? Huh. So if your granddad is your mum's dad, then it could have passed through them, but they wouldn't have noticed. Hello, Lana and Finley. The other day, I was literally talking about colourblindness. So it wasn't my idea. Someone suggested it. It's been a really good one. Literally talking about colourblindness with my friend, then found out you were doing this lesson. What a coincidence, Lana. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Yeah, I found it very interesting. Hello, Sherlock and Aurora, who have lots of colourblind relatives, including their uncles, Tom and Ben, and even some of the girls in the family. Really? Oh, that's interesting. You didn't cover tetrachromacy, where you have a 4th colour cone between red and green. It doesn't mean you see more colours, just more variation of colour. It can't be tested on a screen as screens use colours. How interesting. It's tested another way. Unlike colourblindness, where it is predominantly a male condition, tetrachromacy is only female. I did not cover that. That did not come up. Tetrachromacy, let's have a look. No AI overview. I'm not interested in you. Oh, yeah. Oh, gasp. Tetrachromacy, from ancient Greek meaning four and chroma. Thanks, Wikipedia. Condition of possessing four independent channels for conveying colour information. Oh, that's so interesting. But some fish and birds and reptiles have it. Look. Wow. The common ancestor of all vertebrates? No way. So our great times a lot grandma and grandpa had four different cones. But then one of our more recent grandmas and grandpas lost two. Wait. Oh, I see. No, oh, right. That's so interesting. No, I didn't know this. So way back, we had four, and then we lost it and we had two. And then some primates like us evolved a third one. Ah, yeah. Okay, so the other thing I didn't talk about actually, which makes sense, I didn't know that. We've talked about this before because it's one of my favourite science facts, that tigers are orange because the things that tigers eat, like deer and stuff, only have two cones and they can't tell the difference between green and orange. So you can't get green fur. There's like one sloth that's got green fur, but it's actually like a type of algae growing on it. So the tiger's evolved to be orange because to a deer, it does blend in with its background. But I didn't know that the deer is actually like the more typical mammal and that it's humans and just a few primates that evolved to have three. That is fascinating. Thank you. All right. Hello, Sophie and Emily and Katie and Hannah. They really enjoyed that. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Hello, Jancy. All right, Jane, Daisy and Daniel. Hello, Imogen and Abu Dhabi. Can you please do a session on tone deafness? Oh, I play the piano and flute and sing in a choir. My dad is tone deaf. He comes to my concerts but says it's just all noise. That is fascinating. I'd like to know what he hears and why he can't hear notes like I can. That is so interesting. It might be a little bit niche for Lego Story Show, but I'll write it down. I've been thinking that I would like to do a whole series of lessons about singing, actually. Hello, Imogen Ophelia. Science Day. Hello, Kai. Kai, no, I must admit, actually, I forgot. I haven't been looking. Have you found my cow yet? No, I haven't. I mean, I say I haven't been looking. What I mean is I haven't tidied my office at all. In fact, it's on my list. It's always on my list, but it really is on my list of things to do. So I'm sure I will find it when I tidy my office. That's good motivation for me to tidy my office, to reveal the cow. Hello, Coral and Rose. Hello, Jack. All right, Jacob. Hello, Lyra and Chippy the cat. Can you do a Lego Story Show on birthday traditions? Oh, that's fun. Birthdays. Oh, I like that. Yeah, it's a really good one. Oh, there must be loads of good activities relating to that. Hello, Aurelia. Wanted to send you her drawing in video as she found it worked very well, leaving a blue star. Oh, cool. All right. Let's have a look at that. Lara, both my uncles are red-green colourblind. All right, Sebastian and Humphrey. Hello. We have been here, just not had Mummy's phone the last few lessons, and she's the Facebook person. Oh, I see. Sebastian and Humphrey. I feel like I should say your names because Sebastian and Humphrey have been watching for a while, but I haven't said hi to Sebastian and Humphrey because he didn't have the ability to comment. But hello, now you can. All right, Casper and Iris. Note, Iris might be colourblind. So this is like a test to see if she is. Oh, interesting. Wow. That would, yeah, rare. Hello. Hello, Rose, who's typing. Great lesson, really interesting. What is it next week? Oh, good question. Could you do a lesson on musicals or theatre in general? Ooh, I have been able to do the activity before. My eyes just don't like it. Yeah. Oh, but you did the last one and it works. Am I famous for really long messages now? Cracking good shot. Hello, Jess and Aurelia, says Isabel and Rose, but also Mum. And Rose is typing. Adorable monkey and a picture of a guinea pig. Thanks, mate. Lovely stuff. Musicals and theatre. I don't know if I've written that down. Oh, no, I have written theatre down. I'll underline it. That counts as asking twice. Hello, Henry. I was wondering whether there was anything that means you can see colours better. Ooh, someone's probably asked or answered this in the comments already. Also, great shirt. Oh, thanks. You watched Jurassic World for the first time recently. Oh, I'm so jealous. I wish I could experience Jurassic Park and Jurassic World for the first time again. Oh, so good. So good. Hello, Sarah and Alex. Good question. Is there anything that can make you see colours better? Well, I guess we've just learned about it. I didn't know about tetrachromacy. So, yeah, there is. Well, yeah, kind of. There is, I forgot to say actually when I was talking about solutions for pilots, colourblind people who want to fly planes, some of the maps that they used to use used colours, so it was difficult to read the maps. But obviously everything's digital now, so they can. There's loads of apps where they can just like change the colours or up the brightness or whatever to be able to see it better. Seren and Alex. There's another Seren, and I just found out that Seren means star in Welsh. Great name. Hello, Emily. We watched an episode of David Attenborough's Life in Colour, and it shows how deer couldn't see tigers. Oh, did David Attenborough get there before me? That's disappointing. That's one of my favourites. You gave me a good reason to give this sticker model to Aurelia. Ooh, eye sticker. Nice. That is very cool. All right, we're looking at that. Sherlock asked, how does it work when people have two different colour eyes? Oh, I don't know, actually. I don't know. Is it that the chromosomes both win? I don't think so. There are different types of inheritance, and I have looked into it before, and how, like, some combinations of genes, it would be like a red flower with white spots, and some it would be just a red flower, white flower, or half and half. Yeah, I don't know, actually. I haven't looked into it, sorry. The yellow was purple for you. Okay. Hello. Oh, it's Seren in York. Hello, Seren in York. And so was so your great grandpa was colourblind as well. Oh, yeah, I really want to go and give my my child the colourblind test now to see. Yeah. Well, in fact, both of them. Your great grandpa was in the RAF as a radio operator, but had to leave. He was very sad about that. Oh, that's interesting. All right, Emma. Can't wait for this and Tempest today. Ah, that's nice. Oh, that's lovely. Hello, Abby. Hello. The monkey bit was so cool. Right? So cool. When I do the picture trick, I could only see the sun purple change colour. But you don't see the rest of the picture. Suspicious. I'm going to show you the cool BBC videos so you know what to look for. I mean, I could probably just play it, but I don't know if I'm allowed. But anyway, you know, you've probably got the means to see it. Here we go. It's called Trick Your Brain, black and white photo turns to colour, colour the spectrum of science. But I think if you can't remember all that and you just type in BBC colour image, I think that's what I did. It's really cool. You stare at that for a while and then you see colour. Yeah, I won't spoil it for you. All right, you lot. Well, I'll do a quick refresh just to check that I've... Oh, and is this Aurelia? Yes, it is. Aurelia wanted to show us this. Allow... Wait, don't allow. What's that? Staring at it, 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 staring at it. Oh yeah, that did work well. Oh, that's just a picture of... That's a picture of... Oh, and that's the stickers. That's very cool, isn't it? Oh, that's clever. Lovely, the pupil there, just a hole. And you've got the optic nerve. That's where your blind spot is. So the bit where we see images would be just about there. All right, I'll do a quick refresh and then I'll get going because I need to go round to Tempest's house because we haven't had time to get together and solve the problem of them being able to go live on Facebook, on YouTube. So I just have to, it's a real cool tech solution. This is why it was good that I only chose friends who lived near me because I just have to take my phone round to Tempest's house every week so they can stream live from the Theatre of Knowledge YouTube channel. I kind of like it. I quite like the opportunity to go around and see them, find out how things are going. Okay, I've done a little refresh. Oh, there's Heidi and Lennon. That was the top comment before, wasn't it? Oh, I love Jurassic Park. It's my favourite film ever. It is. It's the best film ever made. And I won't hear any arguments about that. If you judge films on do they achieve what they set out to achieve, I think Jurassic Park is the best film ever. Even if you don't enjoy it, it's like, what was it going for? It absolutely did that. Mwah! I just think it's a perfect film. Hello, Cara. Your grandpa is colourblind. That's interesting. Hello, Freya. Hello, Izzy. Jurassic Park, favourite film ever. There's Rose doing the type in. Lizzie photobombs. There's Henry. Okay, I think that's everything. Sometimes Facebook kind of mixes up the new comments. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so Clever Badger is adding in, is showing me a graph. I think that's everybody. Apologies if Facebook's mixed up all the answers so that I can't see you, but hopefully that is everyone. Right, you lot, I'm going to go. So next week, I'm just looking at my board where I've scribbled down. Oh, I can rub colour blindness off now. We've got stuff for next week. I don't even know. We've got cacti. That'd be a nice one. Star signs. Now that would be a good one, wouldn't it? Because we're doing about astronomy at the moment. Aztecs, Jaws, Les Miserables, Birds of Paradise, Rainbows versus Bubbles, Hair versus Fur, Parsley versus Coriander, Narnia, Flamingos versus Swans. I don't know. I'll just pick something off the list. Okay, right. I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for this sport. I would say it makes a difference. It doesn't make a difference. Obviously, it actually makes me able to do these lessons. It's the difference between the lessons or not the lessons. So if you would like me to post you very nice things through the post so that you can open them and go, oh yeah, great, then silence and support me on coffee, and I will do that. Otherwise, I'll see you all next week. Thanks so much for your support. Bye.